Hey guys, it's me, Mr. Tech here, and today I'm going to be talking about Windows 11. Now I know it's pretty late, but I've just got something to say. Feedback for Microsoft. Now, I know why would they listen to a 14-year-old kid like me, but, well, there are a fair share of flaws in Windows 11 despite its really nice looking user interface, especially for people that have the same use case as I do. And that use case is 2-in-1s and touch devices. The gestures on Windows 11 still need to be refined. For example, when you're trying to open the Start menu, it takes a very long amount of time to open the taskbar if it opens at all. So, when I'm on my 2-in-1 device, I have to take out the pen and flick up the taskbar with the pen, and it's still very fidgety. And as you can see, on the developer version, yes, it is the developer version, there is a bug on the Start menu, so just keep note of that. So, when you're in an application and you're just trying to open up the Start menu, it takes a long time to do that. So, I think that there should be a gesture for the Start menu, for perhaps if you flick up with 2 fingers or with 1. When you're in an application, that would be very, very easy to open up another application. Now, I do like the Show Desktop gesture when it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but when it does, it's relatively nice, so that's good. But just make a gesture for the Start menu, and I believe that was in the Windows 10X concept. So that should definitely come to fully fledged Windows 11. The introduction to widgets on Windows 11 was very nice, but also at the same time very flawed. For example, the Add Widgets interface is very oversimplified. You don't get a whole lot of extra features, and you can't add third-party widgets. Widgets also sometimes have trouble displaying when you're offline, which could be very inconvenient for users. I also think that between Microsoft Launcher on phones, there are actually more features in the widget panel. You can add third-party widgets, and you can customize them to a much fuller extent. So I think that if you have the same Microsoft account, your widget should be synced between devices for extra continuity and consistency, as Microsoft Launcher now has way more features than the actual Windows 11 desktop itself. The actual Windows 11 desktop has not changed at all since the introduction to Windows 95 back over 20 years ago, 26 years ago to be exact. So, for example, when you're on a touch device, you're going to have to double tap to open up menus or applications. I think that widgets should be allowed to be dragged to the desktop, and on touch devices, the launcher, the icons should be basic launchers available to open with just a single tap, and tap and hold to change the name, or, tap and hold on the name to change the name, I suppose. Yeah, the desktop should be scrollable with widgets, in my opinion, and you should be able to tap and hold on a widget and drag them out of the widget panel onto the desktop. And you can scroll with your fingers to view different widgets when they're off the screen. I think that would add a lot of niceties for touch users. And if you just do the gesture to show the desktop, you'd have access instantly to a lot of extra information. A lot of the system apps on Windows 11 lack basic features and consistencies found on other platforms. For example, when I go into the Paint program, let's just search up for Paint. You'll see that it takes up a lot of space, And let's see, they did not fix the typo, but yeah, there are typos, as you can see. And when you go and dive into the menus, you'll see that since Windows XP, the different dialog boxes have not changed at all. Another thing is the brushes on Paint. Very few of them have pressure sensitivity, and I think that the Windows 8 concept called Fresh Paint is a very nice example of what Paint should turn into. It should have layers, it should have pressure-sensitive brushes, and a much cleaner design that doesn't take up as much screen real estate. Now, for the file manager, that also isn't very good for touch devices. When you're scrolling down, you'll see that there are little bugs, as there are little lines and stuff when you're scrolling. Some touch targets are not very big, so it takes a little bit of just trying different things to get your finger to touch a different icon. This is a lot like Windows Mobile, as the touch targets were not very big on mobile devices, and Microsoft themselves make tablets and mobile devices, so they should definitely make more of an effort to improve the menu system, improve the system applications, and make sure that all the old menus are away. Microsoft said that they wanted to make Windows 11 feel alive, but in my opinion, Windows 11 is very stagnant. The widgets don't move, and for example, the weather widget should be have weather and clouds and stuff like that. You should be able to customize these things as well. If you want the stagnant widgets, you should be able to add that. You should also be able to add the widgets to the desktop, as I said. Change gestures, themes, icons, and other things that even Microsoft themselves allow you to do and change around in Microsoft Launcher. So I think that they should add more Microsoft Launcher features to the Windows desktop environment, as that would be a very welcome addition. As a Linux user, I really miss the openness.